Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Fringe Artist Chats. My name is Knutson, and with my group, Minion Productions, I spend most of my year helping artists find and learn about fringe festivals all over North America. But this week, I am here to help you learn more about the shows happening at this year's Pittsburgh Virtual Fringe, coming up May 6th to 9th, including this show right here. Can you introduce yourself for everybody?
Hi, yes, my name is L. Nicole Cabe, and my show is Effing Robots, How I Taught the AI to Stop Worrying and Love Humans, which is a semi-true story about flirting with an artificial intelligence and trying to get it to fall in love with me.
Nice. And you gave a bit of an idea there already, and the title, which I've always found intriguing. Full disclosure for people at home, I've seen this show in 2 or 3 different cities and a few different iterations now, which I love being able to do that. But if you were going to give us the elevator pitch of the show, say you were flyering lines in person at a festival trying to get butts in seats, and you just had 20 to 30 seconds to tell us what the show is about and why we would want to see it, what would you say?
Well, the show is about me chatting with various different types of chatbots, specifically one called Replica. And as I mentioned, it's a semi-true story. So I also kind of like to challenge people to figure out what parts are true and what parts I made up, what parts might be more fictional. But for the most part, it is actually a true story, and it's real information about how AI works.
Nice. Yes, I love that. That's great. And all of that was true about it even before we hit this year where suddenly theater is actually involved in technology in a lot of ways. Could you tell us a little bit about that? You were mentioning that it was a show about tech with very little tech at first.
Yeah, so the original live performance is, I mean, it's still a solo performance in its filmed version, but the original live performance was me on stage, and there's a couple of props, and there's a little Bluetooth speaker. I actually have it right here because it's my personal Bluetooth speaker and I use it. That like I took around touring with me, and I would play a song or two out of that. I think that was the extent of the tech. I think I maybe used my phone once or twice on stage as well as a prop. So there's just not really a lot of technology. Like I didn't even use projections or backdrops or anything, and whatever lights the space came with were the lights that were there for me. And like I did it at one point at Adelaide Fringe in a conference room, and so it was just like fluorescent overhead light. It's fine. So the filmed version is still fairly low tech. Like I filmed it on my phone, I edited it on my computer, I used Zoom and PowerPoint at various points, but that's like way more technology than the show has ever actually used. Other than the research I did using an actual chatbot. Yeah, so the point of the show, even though it's about technology, is more about how we interact with technology, how we use it, what we think about it, like our relationship to it.
Yeah, it just became even more relevant than before, and it was already relevant to many
I
people's
keep joking
lives.
about this, but it's not really a joke anymore. I didn't expect all of my relationships to be virtual when I started writing this show. I expected the one relationship to be virtual, but here we are.
That's what we get. Now, and to play a little bit off of the phrase, here we are, where are you?
I'm currently in Glasgow, Scotland, going to graduate school at the University of Glasgow. Obviously, I am not Scottish by upbringing, based on my accent. I am from the United States. I'm obviously here on a visa, but yes, I'm in Scotland at the moment. It is 11:15 p.m. my time.
Yay! That's great. I still think of your shows as Seattle-based artists because that's where we originally knew each other from, even though we never saw each other in Seattle and did see each other all over the country at half a dozen other fringe festivals over the years. And then now, instead of any of that, this is one of the few international shows in the festival, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do also think of a lot of my work, especially Effing Robots, as being very Seattle-based, even though like I'm not Seattle-based anymore. There's something about the intersection of tech and theater that to me is very specifically Pacific Northwest, right? Like it kind of requires the tech bro culture that's there to sort of make more sense, but it works in any context, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes total sense to me. artistic community, a tech community, and people who sometimes have trouble communicating with each other in relationships all scream to me of Seattle. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
thing. Now, to end off, we were talking about the fact that it is in a festival, how it's the same or different from a lot of the other shows. That's because, like most Fringe festivals, you've got a whole bunch to choose from for Pittsburgh Virtual Fringe. There are about 50 shows happening in just those 3 days. In that spirit, is there another show in the festival that you're particularly excited to see?
Well, I got to shout out two of my friends, Sexology the Musical and Rose Gold. Both of those shows are excellent. But I am also really excited about, there's one called, let me get this right before I put my foot in my mouth. I think it's called like hashtag text. Um, that's a guy reading text messages that the audience sends him.
Mhm.
And it kind of creates a narrative. And other than that show pitch, I don't know anything about it. I'd never heard of it before. It's totally up my alley. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's like you said, the right kind for your company and for your style. And I did get to see that at the last festival I was involved with, and I don't want to tell you any more about it, except that you're right. It is a very fun experience. I've seen those other two you mentioned as well. Very good. In that spirit, please, everybody, go to Pittsburgh Fringe Festival's website, find the Pittsburgh Virtual Fringe tab, look through, decide on a whole bunch of stuff now because there's a lot of shows in only 3 days, and it's going to start going very fast. So make sure you throw this show on, make sure you throw other shows on your schedule. Come back and join us May 6th to 9th for the Pittsburgh Virtual Fringe. Thank you, everybody.